You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Whoa. Welcome everyone. I am so sorry for this live. We've been waiting for the past 2 hours to go live on Kenyans Decide 2022. Kenyans Decide 2022 is going to be a broadcast that is going to focus on the elections in Kenya. As we have been seeing Kenyans actively voting in the past couple of months to see who is going to be the commander-in-chief in the House of the Presidency of Kenya. Now we know that two candidates are actually at a tie right now. And in the past few days, Kenyans have been going to the polls because they say one excellency has to be the commander-in-chief. And some are already saying, you know, they name one of the candidates who in the name of Excellency William Ruto as the hustler. And the others are actually, you know, dancing at the rhythm of the presidency in the person of Ralia ODINGA. So we wanted to hear from Kenyans today. Who are they deciding, or from Africans worldwide, not just Kenyans, because it's not just about an election that concerns Kenyans, but the whole entire continent of Africa. So we want to hear what Kenyans think. I mean, we know that the hustler is the voice of the youth, the voice that has been advocating for jobs, employment, or has been criticizing the government for unemployment of the young people and the rate of which the commons are marginalized in Kenya is not acceptable. And we know this excellency in the person of Mr. or Excellency William Ruto. And I think a lot of Kenyans actually, I mean, the down to earth or simple common people, or the people that like us, is saying that, I mean, this is the perfect candidate that we want to be in the House of the presidency of Kenya. But we also do know that a lot of opposition, or the main party whom they think that Ralia Odinga belongs to, is a kind of at a tie, right? So we want to hear what the Kenyans think. Who is going to be the commander-in-chief in the House of Kenya? But what is so very, very strange or about this is earlier this morning, we're already hearing some newspapers or some whistleblowers already crying that the polls might not be so transparent, that it would not actually be fair elections. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think Kenyans have actually learned from what happened in 2017 or 2017, and they had made a vow to say, no, anything that concerns Kenya, we are going to put Kenyans first. And so the handshake that was brought on that conversation to make peace, you know, between the then government and which is actually the outgoing now, and the opposition leader. So we are really excited to know what Kenyans are thinking about on these elections that are going on currently now. And I think in the next 5 days, we're going to actually know who is the president of Kenya 2022. So I'm so really, really sorry. Our correspondence for Kenya that we had to have as an analyst on this whole situation out there is currently in the on the field, on the grounds, and we've been waiting for the past 3 hours. It's either there's no connection or there's no network. And as you know, African elections, when we go live, they, you know, something is going not act well. You know, either the internets are being shut down or there's going to be no network. On our side, we're actually experiencing experiencing such technical setbacks as well in the studio, where we've been waiting to go live to report on the situations of Kenyans Decide. I mean, I can remember even when we started planning about the festival in Germany, one of the things that Kenyans were like, we actually would be at peace and get to enjoy a better culture or Africans that we want after we get the president that we want. Now we're so busy focusing on our elections. We want to make sure that all of us go to the ballot. And one very important point that I know that actually happened here is the Kenyans in the diasporas were given the authorization to vote. And that are things and also sessions that will be broadcasting on this week to get correspondents in the diaspora to tell us how the election process went, how they feel, the Kenyans that are voting in the diaspora, are they really, really consistent, or they just forget home? But from what we saw, the ambassadors here in Germany actually had a polling station in Berlin. And I think a lot of Kenyans actually were going there, for the voting process. And as we do know, it is really, really hot. And we want to understand, we want to know what is going on in Kenya. And you say you are a Kenyan. So what is going on out there in Kenya? Our lines are open for Kenyans to actually express their views and the position in which they stand on. Who is going to be the favorite candidate? Like we say, a lot of young people are complaining about the way the commoners have been treated, and they think that William Ruto should be the president that is speaking on the behalf of the youth. Yeah. But also we know that it is not going to be as easy as we think, because from what we saw this morning, the polls are actually really close. They're getting really close. So we don't know who is actually going to be the president. But I think Kenyans, they know themselves. They actually do know who is going to be the president sitting in the house of, Kenyans. All right. So, like Africans, we also wanted to debate on the fact, or to hold a conversation on, the leader should not just be a hustler from the point of view, but the president that Kenyans are looking for should be the kind of a president that would have to face the global challenge, right? We know about the situation of the Russian-Ukraine war, which is actually affecting also the entire politics of the world, and in some economies also. So a president that would be able not just to focus on domestic policies, but on international policies as well, is what Kenyans are looking forward. So we actually don't know at this point in time what Kenyans are thinking, what they think it would happen. I think I have Destiny for Greatest, who says, Doctor, have his comment here. He said, Dr. William Ruto is a self-made hustler and many citizens like his manifesto. On the other hand, Ralia represents the dynasty families, and Kenyans yearns for new leadership. So you can already begin to see where Kenyans are actually focusing their attention. But what we are also experiencing in terms of these elections in Kenya is like, it's not just Kenyans that are concerned. I mean, we see a lot of Ugandans. I mean, we also see the opposition leader, who was shaking hands with Mr. Raila Odinga a couple of days when we saw Bobby Wine in Uganda, and they are actually in Kenya. I'm sorry, actually on the mission to be the observers, right? Even though he shook hands with him, he said, part of his delegation is also meeting, Excellency or Dr. William Ruto. So we are really excited to know what is going to happen in Kenya in the next days, who is going to be that ruler that is the voice of the people, that represents particularly the youths. And so when we already know they say Papa Ele, and the Papa is the Papa of the hustlers, then something is actually going to come out of Kenya. And I think this is going to be a game changer, not just for Kenyans, but also for the entire East African community, as we are actually looking forward to see who is going to be that leader. God is great is saying, Raila is like Mandela, a Pan-Africanist whose agenda is feared by the West. Okay. And so Kenyans are also expressing their view of a president that would be the one that could give a punching, could punch the West or could set some lines and some guidelines. So I don't know actually what kind of policies Mr. Mandela represented in terms of the West. But if we are looking into the context of the domestic policies, what is it that Kenyans want? And so we hear even supporters of Kenya saying, we are having the most transparent process in history. It's a real presidency, Mandela moment for Kenya. Wow. So as we see, we can already see just from the expressions that we're having here that I don't know whether Kenyans are actually in the process of saying no. We love the dynasty as well. So it is okay. They used to. They are like they say the old brooms in the presidency that knows where to tackle. Right. So we actually don't know the position of Kenyans until the final decision would be made. And I do believe what you're saying that Kenyans are actually the elections of Kenyans 90% or 80%, I don't want to be so sure, is based on transparency. Like I said, I think Kenyans actually learned a lot of lesson in what happened in 2017, and they would not want to go back to that experience again, right? They had come up with a resolution that is really Pan-African in nature. And it's, as a matter of fact, we actually do cherish that from the Pan-African Daily TV. When the presidency and the leadership sits up and say, you know what, we can do every other thing, but when it comes to our political interests and the people, Kenyans matter. Kenyans' life matter, and Africans as a whole. So exactly, that's the kind of policies that we want to hear. But David Kipp is saying Ruto is the man for the presidency. And so, yes, I mean, all those that are hustlers are actually looking forward to this dynamic, handsome gentleman that is going, according to the voices of Kenyans, that he should be actually the president right now. Of course, Kenyan elections is all about tribalism and corruption. Imhotep Heru is saying it's all about tribalism and corruption. So that is the opinion of, I don't know whether, just the observers also in the diaspora are so concerned on what is happening in Kenya, and to say, it's all about tribalism and corruption. Is it a way to say these are the challenges that Kenyans are looking for a president that would address exactly these issues on tribalism and corruption? Or you are saying the standard basis for Kenyan elections is based on, I vote him because he's from my tribe, or I would have some advantages, right? But let's just maintain peace and await really await the swearing ceremony. But we already want to begin to understand what would the outcome be like. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be Raila Odinga or William Ruto. I think Africans should begin to grow up to the part that we should accept some elections at some point in time, particularly to the betterment of the entire continent and the particular countries involved. In this case, we're talking about the Kenyan elections. So we are really, really excited. But all we know and all we are praying for is that there should be no casualties. Like what happened in Zambia, we already just saw the elections came and just went. I think most of East African countries and even countries in the West are growing matured. We don't want to see people go out to the street. That should not happen. As a matter of fact, if we're living in a continent or in a country that we say all the way, we are going to be fair to ourselves. I still don't know. That's why we'll be having a lot of speakers this week on this Kenyan Decide 2022 to understand if we are taking local observers, right, like to say, the opposition candidate of Uganda. And then we also saw like the president of Malawi, shaking hands, with the other candidate. I don't want to mention some names here. If you also did not see that, we would already begin to see that this should be a fair elections from every indications, isn't it? And we love that spirit of Pan-Africanism to say we don't need international observers, or if they should be, but we do also need, our local observers to be on the ground to be able to assess for themselves who is right and who is wrong. In any case, we just want a good leader. We want a leader that the people would say, yes, this is a leader that we have chosen to lead Kenya and to lead Africa as a whole. But whatever the case is, whether our choices is not really what we anticipate or wait for these elections, we just wish Kenya and the entire East Africa and Africa as a whole a fair and peaceful elections, as we look forward to celebrate. Whoever is going to be the president of Kenya, hey, honestly, we are going to celebrate this presidency. Okay. So we're not going to be talking about who is right, who is wrong. When Kenyans vote, we all stand with Kenyans. So who is here? Ale is saying Ruto, his ethnic people put him on the lead, and Odinga, as he is from the minority group, always trailing. How cursed African is of two who is promising a better future for all or just for his tribe. Well, thank you for your opinion, and we want to get more comments on this. What do Africans actually think about? What do they think about who is going to be the president of Kenya? Of course, if you would really ask my opinion, like I said, we are really with the fair elections of Kenya. But if I am a Kenyan that say I want change and development, then you have to weigh it from the politics and the experiences that you've been going through, and to know who is the better one. But another tricky thing that we really do know, about the African politics, is the many, many beautiful promises when they are going for elections. But is it going to be the reality on the ground? So that's also what we're thinking about. That's also what we are actually looking forward to see who is going to be the president in the house of the Kenyans. We're looking forward to celebrate him. And like we say, we pray for both of them, and we pray for Kenyans, and we call on Kenyans to actually begin to already anticipate the fact that whoever is going to be the president of Kenya, all of us are going to celebrate him. So I just wanted to come on this live, like I said. As a matter of fact, we are putting up a list of correspondents, from the opposition, from neutral voices, particularly our youth. You know that we are on the Pan-African Daily, we are the voices of Africans worldwide, but particularly the voices of the young people who are the future of Africa. So we want to hear what they think. We want to hear how engaged they are in this process. So I think Otieng is saying, let us maintain peace even as we await Raila Odinga's swearing in ceremony. I think you're already being on the part of Raila, and while we await peace. So yes, whoever is going to be the president of Kenya, we just want to wish Kenyans actually a peaceful transition into that house. And we know, and we are actually really proud of Kenyans when they say, you know what, it's all about Kenyans first. Wow. So who is in this house here? And I want to get a lady on this live show. When Synovia is telling me Sister Felicia is in the house. Really? Really? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? I mean, it's pretty out, really, really hot out here. I hope all of you are drinking your water and minding your African business. Wow. And I also do hope that you also had set your alarms at 12:12 Ubuntu as we're waiting at all costs to see who is going to be the president of Kenya in the next days. So we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Kenyans actually saying, we just want a fair elections. We want a fair elections. I don't know who is for who. As a matter of fact, no, Matthias, I can tell you going for Ruto. How come? How can you tell that? How can you tell that, Mutsi? How can you tell that? No, we are just wishing Kenyans the best, and it's our duty to actually give a perspective on both candidates, as we already see. But we would be having experts here from the people that are in charge of political analysis on elections, on the procedures, on the democratic process, on the biography of each candidate, and so we can strike a balance from the perspective. But we are not for A or for B. That's just not our duty. That's not even what we should be doing. We are for one united Africa. So whoever wins, we're going to celebrate them. All we want is peace on the continent, and we said let the better one wins. And no matter what, if we didn't like the choices, we're going to continue to support the president that would be sworn in by the Kenyans, and who would actually be in that position to say, yes, I take over this responsibility, for the rest of my life, to just do just the just the best, and to save my people, as the case might be. So yes, I just want to give a small overview, not an overview, but just to show who are we talking here about. I just want to show a picture for those of you that don't know them. This candidate, you can see this gentleman smiling and well noted and up to the target to say, I will be the next president in the House of Kenya. And this is exactly His Excellency William Ruto, whom the Kenyans or the common Kenyans call him the hustler, right? And so, like I said, our correspondents will actually be telling us, yeah, why they call him the hustler. What is he thinking that he could do better than the his opponents? And so, yes, so we have also here whom the Kenyans call Baba Baba Odinga. Actually, Ralia Odinga is also as a close tie, really, really close. These candidates from what we saw this morning, and we're really looking forward who is going to be sitting in the House of the Presidency of Kenya. Whoever this candidate, whoever is going to be the president, you can already see them. They all look very, very serious leaders that are looking forward to pull the nation forward. And so we'll be analyzing with the correspondents on their, like I said, the domestic policies and also the external or the international relationship. Which candidate is actually playing which role, particularly to the global challenge that we're going now. And so, yes, it's all a matter of who is who, actually. Like I said, this is who they call the hustler, William Ruto. For those of you who know him, actually, all of us are just beginning to get to know this president now. And it is very important for you Africans, when we're going to our voting polls, to begin to understand the promises that they make today. Are they going to keep these very promises? I just want to be invisible because I'm not the player here. I'm not the president of Kenya. All right now. So we are just observing who of these strong, powerful leaders, the voices of Africans and worldwide, and for Kenyans in particularly. I mean, we really just wish them all the best. All the best. I mean, it's so difficult for even us to decide. If you just look at them from a point of view, how sympathetic they are, it's not even easy. Come on, give me a break. Africans, we've been saying this. It is not easy. Even just putting your candidature as a president. Do you know this is too much work? This is too much responsibility. You're already putting your life on the global stage to be criticized, to be analyzed, to be mocked, to be, yes. You're already on the epitome of the global space. So whatever decisions you're going to take, actually is going to influence your private lives. Okay, so you don't have a private life anymore. And so being a president of a country, to be honest with you, is a most noble thing. And we are really appreciating this gentleman. Any person, any leader, any African that steps up the game to say, I want to take a leadership position, we do appreciate you. We really do appreciate you because it's not easy. How many people are getting engaged? How many people want to sit there and take the bullet? How many people want to give up their private lives? You know, I mean, they would just be better off going them, let me say, hang out in parties and do the things that the big boys do. You know what I mean? But no, they are giving up a lot to put their face out there to say, we want to make decisions that are favoring how many millions of people, how many millions of Kenyans, you know, youth, elder, the communities, infrastructures, logistic, financial policies, and also having to do with the West and foreign policies and global bodies and challenges. Wow, it's not a piece of cake. So while we begin to look at these leaders and we analyze them, like I say, from the smiles, you can begin to say which one is really fake, which one is not fake, which one is sympathetic. But of course, we know as leaders and our president, they're just going to open their mouths and be laughing like we do on the Pan African Daily. You know what I mean? So yes, I'd like to get someone join me in the studio. If you want me to share the studio link with you for us to just analyze this, I cannot reach Patrick, who is actually on the ground, but maybe he will be joining us even on phone calls. Please, we want to know who is going to be the president of Kenya. Who is going to be that? Who is going to be that commander in chief? Like I said, all right. You know, when I display the images, I could already begin to see the swing. I see the mood swing of followers just by displaying the images. How many people are saying, oh, I think I would want him to be the president, right? Zimbabweans are watching us. Nigerians are watching us. The entire continent are watching us. Cameroonians are watching us. Okay. And Ghanaians are watching. And Africans have always been on that, even in South Sudan, Malawi, all where you people are watching from. This elections has everything to do with us. As you know, it's a one Africa for Africans worldwide. So whatever happens in Kenya is going to automatically affect the neighboring economies like Uganda, of course. And that's why we see Ugandans are really, really seriously, following up these elections and making moves because they want to see a change, because whoever is going to be that. All right. Okay, thank you, Toka. Toka is saying, I want to put this comment. This is actually interesting. Dr. Tata, both words, hustler and dynasty, were coined by William RUTO, and they both polarizing. All right, okay. You see, this is also a point we want to know, and this is exactly what I was saying. We want to know actually, why the word hustler and dynasty. Why? You know, it's already a barrier in something. It's already something there. And that's why I understand when Kenyans are already, or when people are already saying it's a tribalistic thing. You know, the key words, a hustler and a dynasty. This represent these two leaders. So what are Kenyans up to telling us about this? We're really looking forward. Vanessa is saying, you're so right. Work for Kenyan people, for economics, Kenyan politics and their culture. Food, clothing, security and safety, jobs, free schools. Yes, right? Everybody wants a better economy, and so do Kenyans. Kenyans have a right to enjoy their resources, to own it. The Kenyan youths, most of them in the diaspora, voted. They rallied themselves together. They made promotions. I can imagine my sister Agnes, who actually was running from Stuttgart to Berlin during those electoral times, meeting with women in the diaspora, trying to put a power force out there. And so Kenyans are actually really concerned. That's a fact. They're concerned about who is going to take. Yes, I don't know, destiny for, I don't know. Each time we're going to have an election on the continent and Pan African Daily is live, we always going to get buffering, or they would just be shutting us down, or we will not even be coming live. Like I said, we had promised to be live at 6 p.m. Kenyan time, which automatically is 5 p.m. European time, but we could not go live. The buffering was too much, no access to go live. Even when we shared the post of today, it was just wrapped up somewhere and nobody could even see it. So you can already imagine the manipulators of viewers and followers, right? And who they are already deciding for when they start shutting your mouth and your voices, not to be able to speak out your opinions, right? Today, I'm actually looking forward for a better Kenya. Yes, Zenobia is saying big up to Kenyans. We know you are going to do the right thing. We trust Kenyans. We trust Africans that are coming up, conscious Africans, to make really, really good decisions for Kenya and for Africa. Whether Raila or Odinga wins, I urge Kenyans to celebrate and maintain peace. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. That is a piece of cake on the Pan African Daily TV. It's not really just about those days are even gone. I don't see Africans going to the streets again because Africans are so matured now to say whoever wins, Kenya first. All right. We put our differences behind and we rally behind the leader and we work diligently, to maintain peace and a better economy for Kenya. And we do know Kenyans are actually blessed. This is one of the countries everybody will want to visit. And as I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, we're taking the Umoja wa Africa Festival to Kenya next year. Yes. Ask me why. Ask me why. Yes, we're going to be touring the continent. We're going to be in Zimbabwe. We're going to be really, really everywhere. But like I said, we want to actually call on African youths across the mainland and the diaspora to keenly follow the elections that are going on. I think Nigeria as well is coming up, and other countries like Ghana, which already had their elections. We are saying we are for Kenyans. It doesn't matter who is going to win. We look for a better a candidate to actually win. But the voices of the people are the voices of our ancestors and the gods of Africa. So we wish Kenyans really a happy election. And like I said, we're going to dance and celebrate with you. Yes, something is wrong. I know. Don't worry. 45 viewers. Don't worry. But if I show you how many is viewing from the studio, you would not believe it. We do know all that. Those manipulations with the views. Sometimes we're here in the studio. I can tell you from both platforms, we have 120, we have 121, we have 116, we have 100. So if you calculate and put the entire almost 300 people are watching right here, and we see the statistics from here, right? But just 45 viewers, something is wrong here. Of course, I do know. We know that already. We know that. And the only thing that we would never do is to tweak this kind of views. So we are original, we are authentic. What you see, and we're giving you the statistics in the studio, is the reality. Okay, is the reality of what is happening. So never mind how much viewers you're seeing there. Even if it's just that 42, it's still a majority of what we're talking about. We want to rally behind the Kenyans and wishing them a happy elections. So please watch out for who is coming up live tomorrow as our analyst. Like I said, we're putting up the programs in place to see who is going to be our political correspondents for Kenya elections, and what are Kenyans actually thinking about who is going to win, when is the swearing ceremony, what are the statistics that we're getting here. I already have some, but because my correspondent is not here, I don't want to read some things that I'm not sure of, that I cannot be accountable for. So it would be better for us to get the experts in the place to be, isn't it? Yes. So we know Africans globally are wishing Kenyans the best. We see Lawrence from the Caribbeans, no, from Dominican Republic saying, yes, we wish Kenyans the best. And from DRC, we can see Africans actually from DRC wishing Kenya a peaceful election. Peace for Kenya is peace for Congo and peace for Africa. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Those are the kind of comments that we want to see. And you can really call in the studio to give your opinion about it. Whatever opinion you give, we all are celebrating, who is going to be the next president of Kenya. Dr. Destiny for Greatness is saying, Dr. RUTO is my president. Thank you so much for your feedback. And yes, Kwame is saying, I'm African, and that's enough. Right? And so whoever wins, I'm going to be with that president because Kenya is Africa. So we have to begin to distinguish all these things when we come live to say it's one Africa for Africans worldwide, because we actually know it matters. Our voices matter. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter which country, but we do know that it's a one Africa, that we're talking about here. And we see Kenyans saying RUTO Kenya. RUTO Kenya already means, yes, we are celebrating President RUTO as the president of Kenya. President is known. Let me hear Chibutu say the president is known and you know him. All right. Okay. We're just waiting for you to tell us who is the one that we are celebrating. Okay. Yeah. I should really have loved to get a lot. Zambians are watching with you. Thank you so much, Chibuti. Zambians are watching and Africans are watching across. So we want to see the Africans that are really for a one Africa, supporting Kenya and advising Kenyans to be at peace with themselves, irrespective of the elections and who is gonna be, that president. So we have another very interesting celebrating an African New Year on the 23rd of September in South Africa. Hope Kenyans can come celebrate with us. Of course, even us on the Pan-African Daily, we can wait to analyze exactly exactly the African New Year celebration, which is scheduled on the 23rd of September. I think King Maponga Joshua already announced that, and they're putting up a program which will be coming live 10 days even before to give us the reason why Africans should start celebrating their own New Year, which is in the week of the 23rd of September. I think even King Bongane had repeated that a couple of times here on the Pan-African Daily to tell us, yes, we want Africans to be focused instead of celebrating international, global New Year's and whatever celebration. They have to focus on celebrating their own holidays. Yes. So can get your number for better communication, emotionally added, faith, make sure. Okay, I really don't understand your comment, but I think whatever you're saying is we just lay low, we stay in prayers, and we observe, and we send positive energy to Kenya. We don't want there's no good or bad in us Africans. That's what we were saying yesterday. Okay. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl Penny, the senior executive team, is here, and she's saying blessings. Who are the candidates running? Would like to read their agendas. Of course, I just shared their images here, just for us to begin to relate. Who is going to be the president? So we see this is William Ruto, and Kenyans already had named him the hustler. So this is the hustler, Cheryl. And then we have here the next candidate, who is Excellency Raila Odinga, and Kenyans say he is known as the dynasty. So we are also very curious to know why Kenyans actually have divided these two presidents, to say one is for the hustlers and one is the dynasty. So you already can see, you already can see the voices of, I don't know, the marginalized to say hustlers. We don't know what hustlers are, and the dynasties are the comfortables. We want a president that can build up a strong economy. The economy hit men are the enemies of the African continent, and when Africans come together, they can stop them. Um, Nothing is going to stop Africans from coming together anyway. Yes. Every other country is together, and so do Africans as well. We want a peaceful Kenya and peaceful Africa. I support positive results. Good. That is all what we're looking for. We all have to rally behind the winner, okay? And whoever is going to make it to that presidency, all of us are going to dance and celebrate. I'm Kenyan. We are all keeping our eyes to the Electoral Commission of Kenya, Chairman Wafulu Chibukati, to announce our new president. It's a race between dynasties and hustlers. Wow. This is really getting interesting to know, a race between dynasties and hustlers. Or this sounds not like fair. This doesn't have the characteristics or the key words of fairness. If some people are the hustlers and some people are the dynasties, so it already says who people would want as the president, or whom Africans also would say we think he should be the better president, to rule Kenyans. Thank you so much, Brother Leo. Thank you for joining. We are here in the house to actually wish Kenyans, as they are voting their next president, a peaceful transition. And we actually don't want to make a difference. We know we are one and we are powerful together. Opinions matter, differences would come, and that's why we have the president and the opposition, right? And we also have people that would always be for A or for B. But for us, no, we actually are for the better candidate and for a peaceful transition in Kenya. Alex is here saying, for sure, I see Dr. Susan Tatah doesn't understand what she is saying about dynasty and hustlers, of course. I do understand from the words, all right? We do understand from the words, Alex, and but we want to understand the deeper meaning. Why would a candidate be referred to as a hustler and the other would be referred to as a dynasty? It's curious. It calls for concern. How should I understand that? I can only understand from what I think from the words. But of course, we want to get into the deeper meaning of it. You say blessings, but is that the name of the parties, hustlers, and dynasties? You see, um, it's just unfortunate that we don't have our correspondents today, because all of them, they are on the countings, because we already hear Kenyans, some Kenyans early today in the morning, we're already talking about, we are beginning to see that they might trick the election, and yeah, so we don't want that to happen. We don't want to have that kind of a feeling that something is gonna not is not going to be fair, right? We just want to know that whoever is going to be the president in the house of Kenya, that we all are going to celebrate this victory. It doesn't matter who is going to be there. Then the voices or the votes have spoken. But when we start hearing about this some kind of foul, and we know that observers in neighboring countries were there, so let's just be patient. Let's just be patient. But we had to be here to break this, for us to already know that Kenyans are voting. For those of you who did not know, because we've been talking a lot about events, about the festival that is coming soon, and whatever that is. All right, wait. Campido say Dinas is the previous president, sister. Ah, okay. You're talking about okay. All right. So Dynasty is the outgoing president. So, but we have the hustler. Why? Why do we have the hustler? Good. And Nelson is saying, to be hustler, you should be from no known family. Otherwise, dynasties are those people from the known families and the rich. Of course, that's how we understand that. That's why we understand that. And that's what I actually understand when, and that's why I don't understand the comment of Alex Odiamba, who said it's like we confused. No, there's no confusion here. As you can see, hustlers represent the 90% of all Kenyans, while dynasty are the ruling families who are less than 3%, right? That's another opinion coming out there. So I think everybody would go for the hustlers. I'm a hustler, for instance. And I know that the Africans on the continent, particularly the young people, are hustlers. And so if Kenyans, from what you say, is 90% hustlers, and that we should already begin to understand where the votes would be going through for a change, right? Greatness, the whole world will be affected. Mother Africa is the key and the leader of the free world. Can they stand up against our open enemies? That's the question. That's the question. So you see, the diaspora is asking very strategic questions, like, are these just presidents and leaders that would be able to say no when it comes to African matters? Would they be able to take decisions that favor the entire continent of Africa? Or it's just a matter of, a president that comes from my tribe, or a president that I begin to see my wins? So Africans now are really strategic on, I want to make a decision, and this decision should be in the interest of, are the candidates so strong enough to resist pressure in times of global challenges? And so if it was left only to Africans, I think we already know our situation. But because we are living on the global space, presidents that are taking a seat, and actually they ones that are going to be making some very, very pertinent decisions when it comes to Africans globally. Synovia is saying, we don't want no more puppets. And so when Kenyans, you are voting, you should be voting for a president that the diaspora said, we don't want puppets. We don't want leaders that would be micromanaged, and decisions imposed on them. So they should be looking into a president that puts the interests of Kenyans first, right? And just like every global leader, in Germany, the Germans put themselves first, of course. In America and everywhere, political leaders put the interests of their people, their economy, their resources, their talent, their GDP. They put their interests first. So that should be a criteria where we're saying the Africans should be making those kind of decisions when they talk about voting. All right. need someone for the people in Kenya. Of course, we're going to be having a correspondence here, really a fair analyst that will be bringing up a perspective of both sides. And like I said, we want to analyze the profile of both a candidate, and they will be telling us the weakness, the strength, the opportunities, and kind of a SWOT analysis on these two leaders, to give a better overview of the diaspora, because everything that is happening on the continent is not only for Kenyans. Now, the diaspora is very, very engaged and active and has a voice. I mean, as you already know, we are the sixth region of the Africa. Okay, we are the sixth region in every election on the continent, irrespective of the country. The diaspora has a very, very big voice into determining who is going to be the winner. And so you can already see a lot of opinions coming from the diaspora, about the elections. And the diaspora is actually more concerned of how strong whichever president is going to take that presidency, how is he going to address global challenges. How is he going to be the strong president that puts the interests of his people and the legislation, and not breaking some laws out there, puts the culture, the history of the Kenyans, of Africa, a president that unites globally, because now that the individual pieces of Africa will not happen. I know we're experiencing a lot of buffering, even me in the studio, like I told you. Yes, the buffering of live streaming is happening again. This is why Africa would only see freedom when all those appetites set of leadership are dead and the new leadership of young people takes over. Okay, thank you so much for your feedback, your comment, Raymond. Yes, we are going to, yes, greatness, I hear you. But we must stop this wait and see attitude. Make your agenda known. Do we know, or are we waiting? Right now, the results are not yet out. I think we'll be getting the early results tomorrow, prognostics about the elections. But from what we saw today, it was so close. And like I said, I don't want to open up some anticipations here. We want the analysts to come live tomorrow, and then we will begin to see actually who is making the shot, who is scoring here. All right. So yes, I think I just came up shortly, even though we've made almost an hour, close to an hour here, to tell you how the programs would be looking on the Pan-African Daily this week. So we're trying to put a correspondence to analyze the elections in Kenya Decide 2022. I want to thank all of you. Felicia Brown, oh my God. A lot of people are joining late. Where they are younger men running for presidents? Where are the younger men? Or particularly, I think the question also should be the women. So Kenyans, you cannot tell us that women were not actually advocating to be in the position of leadership or the president of Kenya. So yes, we are going to find out what is going. There is voter apathy this time around. Only 65% voters turn out. None of the candidates in their manifesto has addressed the issue of Kenyans being able to fully control the wealth producing resources, of course. And I think that's why Kenyans should make the right decision now. And we know we know that we don't want no puppet leaders. That's what the diasporans are saying, because we understand the policy of Africa in terms of the perspectives of the diasporas who have the experience in the West, and they're the ones that are actually advocating to say, we do know We know the ones that would be for the puppets, those that don't have international experience, and just thinking that it's as easy as that, right? So let's see what is going to happen. Okay, let's see what's going to happen in Kenya. So we will be joining ourselves again live. I'm actually really concerned about the comments of who is winning, but I love the comments of the diaspora getting engaged in these processes. And like we say, we're not only going to sit and criticize, we're not only going to sit and actually just rabble, but we have to be politically engaged. Whether you are out of the continent, you have to be a part of the process that is going on the continent. And I'm very thankful that the diaspora is watching from all around, and they are making their voices heard in these elections. Whoever is going to be, we are still waiting for the elections to come up. Okay. Actually, here at home, every TV station has different persons leading, hence knowing who is the winner is complicated. Of course, Nelson, thank you so much for that feedback. That's also what we know. And like I said, our correspondence that we were supposed to have here, and actually putting those facts together, because no one wants to make a mistake, isn't it? And us, we are here just to say we understand that Kenyans are deciding, and whoever they decide for, we're just calling for a peaceful election and a transition. Whoever is going to be the president of Kenya, we are going to dance the Kikiyu music. Okay, we're going to dance the music of Kenya. We're going to dance the Afrobeat. You know, we're going to celebrate at the upcoming Omoja Wa Africa Festival in Tübingen, Germany, from the 1st to the 4th of September. We're going to celebrate. You know, I mean, you cannot imagine. We ought to have had the festival before the elections. And now we are so happy that the elections are going to be pronounced before the festival, which is coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks as of now, anyway. And so we are looking forward. We're going to wave that flag of Kenya, and we're going to celebrate that leadership. And I think Kenyans will be looking forward to join us in Tübingen, Germany, as we celebrate the new leader of Kenya. I know my Kenyan people are already looking forward to this, and I'm loving it. To say in Germany, we're going to celebrate because we saw the German diasporans actually so actively involved in these elections. They are saying no elections has been so powerful as this one this year. So we wish all our Kenyan brothers and sisters only the best. For the diaspora, it is also a time for them to start reflecting, because like we're talking about expatriating, migrating back to the continent. So I think the leadership of Kenya is actually going to be the one that would determine to open the doors for the diaspora, give them a citizenship in Kenya, open up investment opportunities for the diaspora. So we also would be having a correspondent from the diaspora to talk about how they think and what kind of leadership they'll be looking forward to have rule Kenya in terms of their citizenship, in terms of opening up the door for the diaspora to return back on the continent, to own land, to own properties, to own mining businesses, and to create employment and to push the economy forward. So yes, we want to know which leader is going to be that one that will make the right decision in the interest of Kenyans, but of course for Africans, particularly the diaspora that are looking, they're already carrying and packing their bags and relocating back to the continent of their origins, back to roots. You know, in the past, we used to talk only about the year of returnee for Ghana, but I think this election in Kenya is really going to open up a big opportunity, you know, for the diasporans to come home. All right. I know. I love this. This year, vote counting and totally has been peaceful. In 2013 and 2017, by now the opposition had already invaded the tallying center, creating tension. Of course, that's why I said, if you can look, even the noise on the social media or the press, we've been following up. Everything has been peaceful from now, and we know is the outcome is going to be peaceful. And this is also one thing that we want to talk about: the maturity of the process. The maturity of the process, like you said, if we look at the example in Uganda and we look at the example in other countries, to be honest with you, there would have already been a rioting or foul. But no, we are waiting until every vote is counted and they declare and the winner declared, that we really would know who is the president. Thank you, Sherry. Blessings, Dr. Said. They're looking at those traveling home, talking about is as we are here. Yes. Yes. And I think in the future, elections like this would give the opportunity for the Sith region as well to vote. The Sith region has to be one of the pioneer making decisions, policies, particularly global and international policies. Don't worry about the buffering. We're ending this show right now. And yes, we're going to continue tomorrow with our correspondence. So just stay in touch. Like I said, the best way to do is just click the subscribe button and the notification bells. So when we come live, you would be notified. Okay. Because one thing we notice is the moment we keep telling people we're coming live, the moment we tracked, and you see the buffering, and you see the no live, and you see the terrible images. They've just been putting up, some kind of a blind on my faces ever since on my face. I call them faces because I don't, even when I look at my live, I'm shocked. I'm just so shocked. Is this truly how I look? So you see, there's a lot going on. But we are back. We will see ourselves tomorrow. I want to thank all of you that sign in from the diaspora to share your voices and your concerns about Kenyans Decide 2022. And we're going to continue tomorrow or in the couple of days that are coming. So just watch out when we have a correspondent, when everything is settled down, or when the process of swearing in would come, then we would be breaking again on this. So I want to thank all of you for joining me from all the wherever you're watching from at this broadcast. Like I said, I just came out to awaken us on this process that is going on, which is a very strategic and critical and pertinent a conversation, because the next president determines the future of the country, but not only the country of Africa, not only the Africa and its diasporas. Okay, that is the way it's supposed to be. So I want to thank you. Yes, the fight is on. Let us wait. Our battle is love and unity. You know it. All right. Oh, really? This is strange, Leo. If you say you're looking at that, we're looking good on Facebook. I mean, Facebook is, I don't know what has been happening, but if you look at the past shows that we did with Sister Nanada, it was crazy. Until we started thinking, are we going to refurbish the studio again to get those kind of snappy, sharp, beautiful images about ourselves? I mean, we're so beautiful, we know it, but no one should put a blanket on us. But thank you for that feedback if you're watching from Facebook. And yeah, Bayete, my king, Bayete, thank you so very much. So we're wishing all the Kenyans a happy, happy transition. Please, Kenyans, drink water and mind your African elections. Drink water and mind your African business. Drink water and chill. And just be happy. Remember, we said it, we are all great. It's all about greatness. Okay, no one is going to be left behind. Whether it's William Ruto or Raila or ODINGA that wins, we're going to celebrate Kenya. We're going to celebrate them so high. And YouTube is good too. Thank you so much. We're going to celebrate them at the Umoja wa Afrika Festival in Tübingen, Germany. In the coming weeks, we're going to raise those flags. We're going to dance to the new president in the House of Kenya. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. I think I need to drink water also and mind my own business. So I want to thank all of you for being here. We see ourselves tomorrow. And good night to all of you. I want to thank all my senior executive team that has been moderating, Synovia and Cheryl, who also will be coming live tomorrow with them to share other perspective regarding our own project on the Pan-African Daily for the young people connecting you. But of course, break-ins like this will always show our face here to tell you what is happening on the continent. So stay tuned. Stay connected, stay excited, and please continue to share our flyers and continue to share our images for the upcoming Umoja wa Afrika International Festival in Tübingen, Germany. In 2 weeks, the date have been rescheduled to the 1st to the 4th, from the 1st to the 4th of September, and we're calling on Africans worldwide to call upon their siblings, their families in Europe, particularly in Germany, to attend this historic and big event that is coming up soon. So yes, that's the one love spirit, that's the Ubuntu spirit, that's the 12-12 spirit, and we thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Good night, we love you, and we see us very, very soon. Bye. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.